The world is ending in 7 months, but you are not a party animal. You're not a thrill seeker. You perhaps have anxiety or maybe are neurodivergent. So, how do you spend your last few months on Earth? Netflix's new adult animated series, Carol and the End of the World, explores some of these possibilities. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for the new Netflix series Carol and the End of the World. This is a mini series. You can stream all the episodes right now, and it is created by Dan Guterman, who has helped with Rick and Morty and Community and a lot of the cult status TV shows of the last few years. But before we launch into the specifics of the show and my thoughts on it, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here, and always something new on the channel. Just about every day I try to post something, so always a lot to check out. Please consider subscribing, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, comment below. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. All right, so I'm not a huge Rick and Morty fan. I think the fandom has killed that for me. I did watch a couple of episodes over the Christmas break because they were on. My nephew is a fan, and I don't get it. I think it's crass to be crass. I think it's really trying to push the envelope without maybe saying a lot. Now listen, perhaps I saw bad episodes. I don't know, and I don't know if these are Dan Guterman type episodes, but this is a lot different from the Rick and Morty vibe that I have gotten. So if you're looking for another Rick and Morty, maybe this isn't the one. This has, for me, more of like a BoJack Horseman type vibe, but the main voice here is Martha Kelly, who you may know from the TV show Baskets. She plays Carol, who is a middle-aged woman who really has no interest in, kind of seizing the day and going out and exploring all these new things. She is one of routine, and it's never explicitly stated, if she is neurodivergent or if she has anxiety or what have you, but certainly she is not of the thrill-seeking kind. And I think most apocalyptic shows and movies that we see where, people are kind of being partiers and let's have sex with everybody and let's do all of these things we've never thought we were going to do, or let's blow all our money or whatever. Carol wants the routine, and she wants to keep going to work, and she wants to keep her life as simple as it ever was. And that is such an interesting concept because it's not something that we typically see when we look at end of the world stories. She really is trying to figure out kind of her place. And so this show ends up being very, very reflective, looking inward to how different people do react to, something like an apocalypse. And this asteroid is hurtling towards us and is 100% sure to hit us and wipe out humanity. For her, it's the routine that is more comforting. But when everybody around her isn't sort of in that zone, what does she do? So she ends up, finding a place to work where there are like-minded individuals, but she keeps having these dreams as well. That's one of my sort of negatives about this show, is the dream world versus the real world, because you do see dreams in a similar way as reality. Like with my dreams, things aren't always as they seem. And, they make sense sort of in the dream, but they wouldn't make sense in the real world. And that's kind of what we see here, but it's a little jarring, the first couple episodes, because you're not exactly sure, okay, this has got to be a dream, right? But the real world is also kind of so surreal for someone like Carol, that I'm not sure if, as a viewer, it translated, the difference right away. I got onto it once they started in episode, I think it was 3, actually talking about the dreams with her one coworker. Then I was like, okay, so those are for sure dreams, and they're just sort of a little bit off from the real world. But the real world has gone so goofy now, with the end of the world. Everybody's sort of, throwing caution to the wind and all of that, that it is hard to tell a little bit. So that's definitely one complaint I have. But you also have some voice work here from Beth Grant from The Mindy Project and many other things. And Lawrence Pressman, haven't really seen him in a while, but he was the I don't know what he was, the head doctor or whatever, chief of medicine at the hospital on Doogie Howser. So we're going back about 30 years now. I'm sure I've probably seen him in things since, but I don't know. So it was nice to see his name in the credits, but they play Carol's parents, who have really, gone all the way with throwing caution to the wind. They live naked. They decide to take this, world cruise where they remain naked. There's a lot of, adult animated nudity in this show, specifically from them, but also they've decided to become a throuple with the father's caregiver. So that's all going on. But Laurie Metcalf is here from Roseanne and the Connors as the HR lady at Carol's new job, who's just trying to sort of maintain that status quo. So, yeah, this is a really interesting show. I didn't quite know what to expect. I thought it would be more comedic base. You hear sort of adult animated, oh, it's the end of the world, everybody's going to be, partying and stuff. But that is not this. It is, like I said, very reflective. There's a lot of nuance here that, look, I know Rick and Morty fans will sing the praises of that show all day and then say that it's maybe a little deeper than it appears on the surface and X, Y, and Z. I'm not a huge fan, and I haven't seen a lot of the episodes. So maybe there's shades of this in Rick and Morty as well. I don't know. But for me, this was something that really, BoJack Horseman comes to mind, but very few adult animated series, this side of The Simpsons really have that sort of reflective nature. This was funny to a point, but more in a kind of real world type way. And the animation is so interesting as well. Carol is drawn as, oh my gosh, a real middle-aged person. She's got a double chin, and it's not, they're not saying, oh, she's a fatso or anything. Like, they're not, this is just how she's drawn, because that's how real people are. I'm in my mid-40s, and yes, at certain angles, I certainly have a double chin. So I appreciate that they're not sort of smoothing over some of that stuff in order to, I don't know, maybe be more palatable to watch or whatever. So there's a lot of interesting things going on to this show. I'm not positive that all of them quite connected for me. Like I said, the dream stuff at the beginning was a little bit off-putting, but what an interesting take on an end-of-the-world scenario, and how somebody that maybe doesn't want to go out and just spend all their money and do all these crazy things, how do they perceive the end of the world? How do they perceive themselves? She's still, as we all are, I know I certainly am in my mid-40s, still trying to find myself. That's something that is ongoing, whether the world is ending or not. And so I think there's a lot of interesting things that went into this show that I was not expecting, for sure. So you can check this out on Netflix. I leave Carol and the End of the World with an A-. And it does make me a little bit interested to watch more of Dan Gutterman's stuff. I think he was only part of one season of Rick and Morty, but I don't know. If he's got that kind of an interesting outlook and an interesting eye, I'm curious. All right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time. Bye.